Welcome, dear viewers of the Path to Buddhist Wisdom, and everyone curious about the mystique of the Scorpio zodiac sign. Are you ready to dive into a realm where emotions run deeper than oceans, where loyalty feels as solid as an ancient fortress, and where personal transformation can be as dramatic as a phoenix rising from the ashes? If you answered yes, then fasten your seatbelts. Today, we'll explore why Scorpio is often called the chosen sign, unveiling the mesmerizing traits that set them apart from all the rest. But don't be mistaken, this video is not a simple retelling of conventional Scorpio traits. We're here to spark your curiosity, stretch your mind, and connect it to principles of self-awareness and insight. In this extended journey, yes, an epic journey, because there is so much to share, we'll uncover core truths and hidden layers behind Scorpio's potent energy. We won't just restate the old bullet points about intensity and secretiveness. Instead, we'll bring in real-life stories, fictional examples, spiritual lessons, and personal reflections that show how these Scorpio qualities might be recognized, embraced, or even cultivated by people of any sign who wish to learn from Scorpio's unique approach to life. Along the way, we'll maintain the perspective that all knowledge, including astrology, can be integrated with mindfulness and a deeper sense of interconnectedness, ideas that echo strongly in many wisdom traditions, including Buddhism. So let us begin. Brace yourself for an enlightening expedition. Whether you are a Scorpio, love a Scorpio, or are just intrigued by the aura of mystery that swirls around them, there is something here for everyone. By the end, you will see how the unwavering loyalty, fiery passion, and intense focus of Scorpio can apply to all of us in some capacity. The seeds of personal growth that lie at the heart of Scorpio's nature can blossom in each of us, no matter our sign. Let's set the tone with a question for you. If you could harness one of Scorpio's best qualities, be it their fierce loyalty, their ability to see the truth, or their unwavering drive, how would it transform your life today? Keep that question in mind as we embark on this odyssey, because you might just discover a priceless key to your own personal growth. Now, let's examine the essence of Scorpio and set the stage by summarizing the popular perception of this sign, so we can eventually dive deeper, add fresh insights, and illuminate aspects rarely discussed. A quick overview, the usual narrative of Scorpio. Scorpio is widely known among zodiac enthusiasts for a few distinctive, recurring themes. Emotional depth, they experience emotions powerfully and are not easily swayed by passing moods. Intensity, whether it's love or conflict, they show up 100%. Loyalty, once you're in their trusted circle, they'd go to the ends of the earth for you. Vengeance, if betrayed, they don't forget. Many call them the masters of revenge. Mystery, even when they're with a crowd, Scorpios hold a part of themselves hidden. Transformation, symbolized by the scorpion, the eagle, and eventually the phoenix. Scorpio is often associated with profound inner rebirth. These points are helpful but incomplete. In popular astrology discussions, many times Scorpios are reduced to clichés about jealousy, obsession, or unstoppable vendettas. But there's so much more nuance behind these tropes. Think of Scorpio's intensity not just as raw emotion but also as a laser-focused drive to understand. Their quest for knowledge, particularly about the human psyche, can be unstoppable. And that thirst for truth can lead them down paths of self-realization that other signs might not dare tread. In other words, what we often see as intensity could just as easily be described as the willingness to face one's own darkness and transform it into light. And that is one reason Scorpio resonates so strongly with deeper wisdom traditions, including Buddhist philosophy. Buddhism teaches that by seeing ourselves clearly, without illusions, we can begin to transform. Scorpio's fabled capacity for rebirth parallels this spiritual concept. They embody the principle that to genuinely move forward, sometimes we must confront darkness and accept it before letting it go. Now, let's begin our 21-point analysis, rewritten and reimagined, infusing new angles, commentary, stories, and spiritual reflections to help us all glean something valuable from Scorpio's nature. 1. The roots of Scorpio's emotional depth. Every zodiac sign has an emotional dimension, but Scorpio's is famously intense, often described as volcanic. This emotional reservoir is like a deep well that can store and conceal great feeling. Yet contrary to some stereotypes, deep emotions don't necessarily mean constant drama. Rather, it suggests a capacity for empathy, compassion, and yes, also fierce anger if they are wronged. But how do they cultivate this emotional depth? One perspective is that Scorpio's intense focus on truth makes them more open, at least within themselves, to the full scope of feelings. While some signs might adopt denial when confronted with negative emotions, like fear, sadness, jealousy, Scorpio is more likely to explore these emotions and try to understand them, even if they keep it private. A personal tale: imagine a teenage Scorpio who first experiences heartbreak. Instead of burying the pain with endless distractions, they might lock themselves in their room and journal relentlessly. They'll face the hurt head-on, analyzing what went wrong, eventually emerging stronger and more self-aware. If you're not Scorpio, you can still follow this example by adopting a willingness to do shadow work when confronting emotional pain. It's not about wallowing but about acknowledging and examining your feelings with honesty. Buddhist practice, especially in the tradition of introspection, such as Vipassana meditation, resonates with this approach. Greet every emotion that arises with mindful observation rather than denial. Key lesson: emotional depth, when combined with self-awareness, becomes a superpower for understanding both self and others. It's not a weakness to feel profoundly, it can be an invitation to inner transformation. 2. The aura that shifts a room. One of the reasons Scorpio is sometimes called the chosen sign is the almost tangible presence they bring into any space. When they're upset, everyone around them senses the tension. Conversely, when they're happy or driven, their passion can inspire and enliven a crowd. Why so magnetic? Part of it may be their intense focus. Many Scorpios have a laser gaze quality, like they can see right through your defenses. People often describe feeling examined by a Scorpio. This can be intimidating or electrifying, depending on the context. But more than that, it's simply the ability to be fully present in an environment. When Scorpio pays attention, they really pay attention. They're not playing with their phone or drifting off. They fixate on the moment, and that amplifies the energy around them. Buddhist parallel: in mindfulness practice, we train to be fully present, observing sights, sounds, feelings, or thoughts without being swept away. When a person is truly present, others sense it. Because that presence is rare, you might say Scorpio's natural presence is an intuitive or even primal version of intense mindfulness. 3. Relentless loyalty and the power of commitment. If you have a Scorpio partner, sibling, or friend in your life, you're likely familiar with the unwavering devotion they can offer. It's not just about loyalty, it's a form of emotional guardianship. Scorpios are known for defending their loved ones with fierce protectiveness, sometimes to the point of confrontation if they perceive a threat. Yet, loyalty is a two-way street in Scorpio's world. They'll give it wholeheartedly, but they also demand loyalty in return. If trust is broken, they find it nearly impossible to mend that bond in the same way. This makes sense from a spiritual or psychological viewpoint. Once illusions are shattered, regaining innocence is incredibly difficult. Story of friendship: a friend once told me about her longtime companion. a Scorpio, who stood by her during a painful divorce, while other friends gave fleeting sympathy or vanished. The Scorpio friend regularly called, drove hours to comfort her, and even advocated for her in uncomfortable social scenarios. That's the essence of Scorpio loyalty, action, not just words. But that same Scorpio friend made it clear, if you lie to me, even a little, it's over. And indeed, they parted ways with someone else who deceived them about a minor but personal matter. This might seem harsh, but to Scorpio, trust is all or nothing. Reflective takeaway: imagine harnessing that unwavering commitment in your pursuits. When you pledge yourself to a cause, project, or relationship wholeheartedly, you mirror Scorpio's loyalty and become unstoppable. Yet also remain mindful that if you break a promise to yourself or to someone else, it can derail momentum. Let Scorpio's focus on integrity guide you towards stronger self-discipline and genuine relationships. 4. Scorpio's X-ray vision, perception and intuition. A frequent description of Scorpios is that they have a built-in lie detector. In daily life, this can manifest as an uncanny ability to guess a friend's hidden emotions or see beneath a coworker's polite smile to the underlying tension. It's not literal magic, rather, it's a refined understanding of subtle cues and energies. Cultivating this skill, you don't need to be born under Scorpio to develop sharper intuition. By practicing mindful observation, paying close attention to body language, tone of voice, and the unspoken emotional undertones of a situation, you, too, can cultivate a clearer sense of when things aren't quite right. This is something many spiritual disciplines encourage, being alert to the world around and within you. Why people confide in Scorpios: their intuitive energy fosters trust. Many notice that Scorpio friends become confidants because they respond without superficiality. They see you, they hear you, and they're not frightened by raw emotion. This comfort with honesty can be healing. 5. Facing fears and concealing vulnerabilities. Contrary to the robust outer shell, Scorpios do experience fear. They have insecurities, like anyone else, but they're adept at masking them. Their preference is to project strength, possibly so that no one can exploit their perceived weaknesses. Yet consider how Scorpio might handle a big challenge. They won't broadcast their anxiety, but they'll channel that concern into meticulous planning and unstoppable drive. Think of a Scorpio preparing for a major exam or job interview. While others are openly panicking, Scorpio seems calm, quietly studying every angle. Deep down, they might feel the same nerves, but their approach is not to show it to the world. Balance and spiritual insight. From a Buddhist viewpoint, this approach can be both beneficial and limiting. Beneficial because fear doesn't paralyze them, limiting because complete suppression of vulnerability can hinder self-growth. The middle way might be, face the fear, acknowledge it internally, but harness its energy towards skillful action. Scorpio typically does the latter quite well, and we can learn from that. 6. Testing before trusting, the gatekeepers of loyalty. Scorpio's inner circle is typically small. They may have acquaintances, but the people they truly trust are few, and those individuals often had to pass tests, whether consciously or unconsciously, to earn that closeness. Example: suppose a new acquaintance tries to become fast friends with Scorpio. They might share personal stories in an attempt to bond quickly. Scorpio, however, remains neutral, watching how consistent this person is over time. Does this new acquaintance gossip about others? Do they follow through on promises? How do they behave under stress? Until Scorpio is satisfied that this person is genuine, that gate will remain firmly closed. While some find these tests off-putting, it's also an effective way to avoid superficial or toxic relationships. From a purely rational standpoint, it reduces the chance of heartbreak or betrayal, and it underscores that trust is not doled out lightly. This principle can be a real game changer if you've been burned by betrayals in the past. Maybe you can adopt a healthy version of Scorpio's screening process: observe more, jump in less. 7. Emotional intensity, the water sign that burns like fire. Among the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Scorpio stands out as the one often described as burning water. Their emotional realm is more reminiscent of a raging river than a placid lake. It has unstoppable momentum. But water, in spiritual traditions, symbolizes purification. Scorpio's intense water can also wash away illusions or surface-level thinking. When they set their sights on a goal, they're not easily deterred by minor obstacles. They flow around, through, or even erode the resistance over time. A vibrant image: picture a hidden waterfall deep in a forest. Its current is unrelenting, shaping the rocks over centuries, carving a new path if needed. That's Scorpio's emotional energy. It's not always dramatic on the outside, but it's unstoppable when harnessed. This unstoppable quality is part of why so many are drawn to Scorpio. That sense of nothing can hold them back is intensely inspiring. 8. The danger factor, why Scorpio is feared. Many zodiac guides brand Scorpio as dangerous, typically referencing their capacity for revenge if betrayed. Yet, we should clarify that Scorpio's concept of retribution often aligns more closely with restoring balance than indulging cruelty. That said, if they perceive a severe injustice, they may respond in a way that leaves a lasting impression. There's also the sense of psychological danger they pose to those who prefer illusions. Because Scorpio has no patience for falsehoods, they may rip away one's comforting lies, unintentionally or otherwise. People who aren't ready to face certain truths might find this dangerous, as it dismantles their carefully constructed reality. Spiritual parallel: many spiritual teachers highlight that illusions must eventually fall away for genuine growth. Scorpio can be an agent of that transformation, sometimes gentle, often not. If you prefer illusions, watch out. If you long for authenticity, Scorpio can be a powerful ally. 9. The Scorpio woman's resolve, zero tolerance for disrespect. Scorpio women, in particular, are hailed for their no-nonsense approach to self-worth. They pour love and loyalty into relationships, but any sign of belittlement or dishonor triggers a swift exit. They might quietly observe the first incident to ensure they're not misunderstanding. But repeated offenses? They're out the door. Why is this important? Because too many people, regardless of their sign or gender, remain in relationships where they're taken for granted or mistreated. Scorpio's attitude sets a different standard. Self-respect is non-negotiable. If you can adopt even a fraction of that principle, your entire life can change. A friend's anecdote: I once knew a Scorpio woman who discovered her partner had made subtle, degrading comments behind her back. They weren't overt insults, but small, cutting remarks about her intelligence. When she confronted him and he tried to dismiss it as jokes, she ended things abruptly. From an outside perspective, some thought she was overreacting, but to her, it was a clear sign of disrespect, and she wouldn't degrade herself by staying. That taught me a lesson about how we teach others to treat us. By refusing to compromise on respect, we preserve our dignity and emotional well-being. 10. Pushing loved ones to grow. Scorpio is not content to coast through life. And if you're in their world, they'd prefer you not coast either. If you have big dreams, they'll cheer you on. But they'll also call you out if you're not living up to your potential. This can be uncomfortable. Who likes being told they could do better? Yet, it's an act of genuine love. They see the best in you and feel frustrated when you don't see it in yourself. In practice, maybe you have a Scorpio friend or mentor who sees your talent for art, writing, or business, while others might offer polite praise. They will tell you, "You have something special, why are you wasting time? Let's go. Do it." In the moment, you might feel pressured or annoyed. But in hindsight, you'll see how their push helped you progress. From a Buddhist viewpoint, there's a concept of spiritual friendship, Kalyanamitta, where true friends help each other on the path to wisdom, gently pointing out harmful behaviors or illusions. Scorpio's approach might not always be gentle, but it is sincere. If you want to accelerate personal growth, having a Scorpio ally is like rocket fuel, direct, potent, and sometimes uncomfortably honest. 11. The most loyal yet suspicious lover. When it comes to romance, Scorpio is famous for unstoppable passion. But that passion demands total honesty. Even a small lie can sow seeds of doubt they may never uproot. Thus, being in love with a Scorpio can feel exhilarating but also high stakes. They love deeply and expect the same in return. Here's a nuance that's often overlooked. Scorpio's suspicious nature doesn't mean they enjoy playing detective or accusing their partner. Instead, it's more like a hypervigilance to emotional undercurrents. If they sense a mismatch between your words and your demeanor, alarms go off. It might be a protective mechanism stemming from past betrayals or simply a core feature of their intuitive mind. Real-world example, a Scorpio might find themselves unable to sleep if they detect the smallest shift in their partner's mood. They'll stay up analyzing, replaying conversations, searching for the why. This can be exhausting if misdirected. But if you reassure them with consistent honesty, they'll channel that energy into unconditional love instead of suspicion. 12. The calculated art of revenge. The original transcript spoke about Scorpio's patient approach to retaliation when deeply wounded. They don't lash out immediately, they wait, observe, and strike when least expected. While we certainly don't advocate revenge, we can glean an insight. Scorpio rarely acts on pure impulse when they feel wronged. They'll gather facts, measure the severity, and then decide on a response. Spiritual angle. In many wisdom teachings, revenge is discouraged because it perpetuates cycles of harm. Ideally, we transform negative impulses into compassionate understanding. But it's also important to stand up for ourselves or for others who've been harmed. If we channel Scorpio's strategic approach, we might instead use that energy to set healthy boundaries, protect ourselves, or speak truth to wrongdoing in a calm but firm manner, thereby preventing further harm without fueling endless conflict. 13. The irresistible magnetism of Scorpio women. We've touched on Scorpio women's refusal to endure disrespect. There's another side to them, a magnetism that's nearly impossible to ignore. It's not solely based on physical appearance, it's the self-assured aura. They radiate a sense of "I know who I am, and I'm not afraid of it." That authenticity can be unbelievably enticing to others who sense something different, a boldness that doesn't chase approval. Think of how bright flame draws a moth. People are drawn to Scorpio women for reasons they can't always articulate. Maybe because confidence coupled with emotional depth is a rare and potent mix. When that confidence meets compassion, it becomes a guiding light for anyone searching for realness in relationships. If you're not Scorpio, you can still cultivate a bit of that magic by embracing your true self, refusing to apologize for who you are, and setting boundaries that support your dignity. Confidence is less about bragging and more about quiet self-assurance. 14. Persuasion through passion. Scorpio's ability to persuade is legendary in many circles, whether it's in casual debates, workplace negotiations, or personal convictions. Their gift lies in speaking with complete conviction. They're not repeating the party line or parroting others' opinions. They've done their homework. They feel strongly about the subject, and their words reflect that sincerity. How to harness this? If you want to strengthen your persuasive abilities, take a page from Scorpio's playbook. Dig deep into the topic until you form a genuine opinion. Speak from the heart rather than from memorized slogans. Don't waver if you believe in your perspective, but also stay open to hearing others. A big part of this persuasion is the confidence that I've done the inner work. I truly understand this topic. People sense that. And it's naturally persuasive. 15. Reserved socially. Fierce in close circles. We often think of Scorpios as private individuals. At a large party, they might find a quiet corner or only gravitate to one or two people for meaningful conversations. This isn't necessarily antisocial behavior, it's selective socializing. They prefer genuine, one-on-one connections to superficial group banter. Yet, in the presence of trusted friends, Scorpio can be surprisingly outgoing, even playful. This duality can confuse acquaintances who assume they're always aloof. In truth, Scorpio invests energy where they feel it matters. They don't see the point in small talk with strangers, they'd rather have an in-depth discussion about something real. Reflective lesson. This approach calls us to reevaluate how we spend our own social energy. Are we scattering it in shallow ways? Or are we focusing on deeper, more meaningful connections that support our values and growth? 16. Kisses of intensity, physical connection as emotional expression. No discussion of Scorpio would be complete without addressing their renowned physical intensity. Whether it's a casual date or a long-term partner, Scorpio's approach to affection is rarely lukewarm. They might linger in a moment, eyes locked, fully present, turning even a simple kiss into an emotionally charged experience. This isn't about mere physicality. It's about the entire emotional and energetic exchange. They aren't just kissing your lips, they're connecting with your soul, or at least they want to. It's an all-or-nothing dynamic that's emblematic of Scorpio's worldview. If we're going to do this, let's do it wholeheartedly. Takeaway for everyone, even if you're not normally intense, trying to be more mindful in affectionate moments can transform your connections. Instead of rushing, slow down, pay attention to the energy between you and your partner, and open your heart to the depth of the experience. 17. Seeing through deception. Among Scorpio's many talents is the near-instant recognition of falseness. They pick up on the slightest inconsistencies, not because they're itching to catch someone in a lie, but because they are deeply attuned to authenticity. Case study: a Scorpio woman enters a business meeting, and a potential partner is overhyping their product. They exude confidence, but something in their body language, perhaps darting eyes or forced laughter, betrays them. Scorpio notices. She may not confront them immediately, but she files away that data. This skill can protect them from shady deals or manipulative relationships. For the rest of us, we can learn to trust our instincts more. Often, our subconscious picks up micro-signals of dishonesty, but we dismiss it, telling ourselves we're being paranoid. Scorpio's example reminds us that listening to gut feelings can save us from dangerous entanglements. 18. Honesty at all costs. Brutal honesty is a signature Scorpio trait. They might deliver truths in ways that feel harsh, but they generally believe sugarcoating robs the recipient of clarity. If a friend is making a poor life choice, Scorpio won't hold back. This direct approach can offend some folks who'd rather be shielded from harsh realities. Why they value honesty. On a deeper level, Scorpios see honesty as the bedrock of authentic relationships. They'd rather endure momentary discomfort than risk building relationships on false premises. This is especially true for spiritual growth as well. None of us can evolve if we're clinging to illusions. Buddhist connection. One of the core aspects of the Eightfold Path is right speech, which includes speaking truthfully. Scorpio's fierce honesty, if tempered by compassion, can be a shining example of right speech, direct yet mindful. The key for everyone, Scorpio or not, is to remember that truth can be delivered kindly. Honesty doesn't need to be cruel. 19. Scorpios drive for success. Scorpios are typically not content to sit on the sidelines of life. Armed with a combination of strategic thinking, emotional tenacity, and a willingness to dig deeper than most, they often find success in careers that require persistence. Think detectives, researchers, psychologists, entrepreneurs, or even spiritual teachers who dig deep into the mysteries of existence. Underlying motivation, at times, Scorpios' pursuit of success stems from a desire for control or to prove themselves. But at their highest expression, it's driven by a calling to uncover what lies beneath the surface. They love unraveling complexities, whether it's the complexity of the human mind or the challenge of a business plan. Practical inspiration: we can tap into that unstoppable energy by embracing challenges more fully and adopting a fail-forward approach. Scorpio rarely sees a setback as final, they see it as data for their next move. If we approach obstacles with the same unwavering determination, we, too, become unstoppable. 20. The patient partner, high demands, high rewards. Being with a Scorpio requires patience because they can be guarded, slow to trust, and intensely emotional at times. Yet those who endure see the rewards: unwavering devotion, passionate loyalty, and a partner who insists on real intimacy, not the shallow version. Imagine traveling a long, winding road to a hidden paradise. It's not an easy drive, and the path has sharp turns. But once you arrive, you see breathtaking views that few experience. That's how some people describe the journey of winning a Scorpio's heart. It's a trip worth taking if you value emotional authenticity and soulful connection. 21. Transformation, the true reason Scorpio may be chosen above all else. Scorpio is associated with rebirth, the phoenix rising from ashes. Even in everyday life, they cycle through transformations, personal crises that lead to revelations, heartbreaks that spark major life changes, and illusions shattered to awaken deeper wisdom. This cyclical transformation is what truly makes Scorpio remarkable. It mirrors the universal spiritual process of dying to our old selves, shedding layers of ego, and emerging renewed. In a Buddhist sense, this is akin to the repeated process of letting go and discovering clarity, over and over again. Every time we face adversity with courage and self-honesty, we're enacting a Scorpio-like transformation. Perhaps that's why Scorpio is sometimes called the chosen sign. They exemplify the universal principle of transmutation, turning raw pain into wisdom, darkness into light. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe to the Path to Buddhist Wisdom and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support means the world and helps us continue creating valuable insights for everyone.